बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम नवैतुल अर्बईन नवैतुल इतिकाफ नवैतुल खलवा नवैतुल उज़ला नवैतुल रियादा नवैतुल सुलूक नवैतुल सियाम हादिल मकाम लिल्लाहि तआला अल्लाहु अकबर. My dear reverend fathers, also the chief guest, the teacher in charge, the senior students who are gathered here, parents, as well as students who have come from different schools, all our brothers and sisters, on behalf of everyone, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. With regard to the request being made for me to ponder a few words as the guest speaker in this important occasion, what I thought was, what are the best values I can probably discuss with some students. And I can see you guys are quite young, you guys are quite energetic, you guys have the ability, if you want to do something, you have to do it in this stage. For an example, I would like to take some quotes even from my previous two respected brothers who spoke here. First of all, if we talk about the chief guest, he's one of your own boys. If I probably ask him a question, in his life, if he wants to go to the past, in his life, which is the time period he will go to, I'm 100% sure he will say he wants to go to his youth age, to his school life which he was doing. I'm sure he will do that. I'm sure every one of us will do that. I'm sure that is what I want. If I can basically go to my school life and to make myself a better person, because always there is improvement. If you take a person who runs a race, if you take a student who writes an exam, after they get their results, what do they think? I should have studied a little bit more. I should have done that a little bit more. I should have actually invested in more number of hours. Now that is something which we have to look into, because this is a time which we will probably not get. So I would like to just ponder a few words in the Islamic character and the general character, because all of us have got always something to learn here. So first of all, if you see today's youth is transformed in various ways. As the chief guest said, today a lot of people are not capable in writing good letters. Their handwritings are very bad. What do you think is the result of this? The result of the developments of BlackBerry Messenger, WhatsApp softwares, SMS softwares, emails. So everyone is becoming in an instant life. For my marketing students, when I talk in the university, I always tell them, it's like Maggi noodles. Maggi noodles, once told, for the last 20 years, we have asked only 2 minutes of your time. It's instant. And today, everyone wants to be instant. Everyone wants it very quick. Well, there is always repercussions in that. And I will end that when I tell you an interesting story about it. Can you look at the picture of how people were in 1980s and today how people were? Today we have flat screen TVs, but the size of the human being has increased a lot. But our thoughts are reducing. Our thoughts are reducing a lot. Some say that, we have found ways to travel to the moon. Sir Richard Branson says, he's going to have vehicles called Virgin Galactic, which will take people to the moon. And some people say, hey, hold on. We have problems in even crossing the road. What do you mean he's going to take us to the moon? We have not even developed to actually go cross the other road, and we are talking about traveling to the moon. My dear students, this is the understanding which we will have to get here. It's not knowledge, but it's wisdom. Like some person said, what's the difference between knowledge and wisdom? If you know that a tomato is a fruit, that is knowledge. If you know tomato is a fruit, that is knowledge. But if you know that though tomato is a fruit, you should not put it into a fruit salad, that's no wisdom. You should not put it into a fruit salad, that's wisdom. So it's a difference between knowledge and also wisdom which we see. Look at this which I talked to you about. Today, those days people used to spell it as OK, and then that became O and a K, and that became K. That's all. Today when we talk to our friends, when we talk to our teachers, when we talk to our parents, what happens? our communication has shrunk a lot. With this, our minds are shrinking. Guys, our minds are shrinking. There are so many schools, so many institutions. Day by day, technology is developing, but human being has not developed up to that level. So that's the character which we are looking at here. A few days ago, I saw a news article which I would like to just take 2 minutes to explain. You know, a few weeks ago, it was Teachers' Day. And you know, when it comes to Teachers' Day, every one of us take us the capabilities of going and respecting and wishing our teachers. Some try to make some gifts and give them. There were 2 boys who went near a lake. This appeared in Daily Mirror. They have gone to a lake to get some flowers. Possibly they can't afford flowers to go and buy it from somewhere. They go in the middle of this lake. They know a little bit of swimming. They try to take these flowers. And what happens? Both of them drowned there. It came on papers. Why? Today Teachers' Day is marketed. Today Father's Day is marketed. Today Mother's Day is marketed. Ask from your parents, grandparents, if they are there. You know, when you all were in that age, was there anything called Father's Day? Was there anything called Mother's Day? All 365 days a year we used to respect our mothers and fathers. But today, the value system has gone down really drastically. Students find it hard to respect their teachers. They look at a teacher and they think, oh, this teacher is not from my belief system. This teacher is not from my belief system. That brother is not from my belief system. Do I need to really respect him? My dear students, don't do into that. That is not the real value which we Sri Lankans have. All of you know about Robert Knox. Robert Knox talked about the positives and the negatives of Sri Lankans, and there was one specific thing he said, that Sri Lankans are always good in value. They have very good value system. We should not take this out. Do you all remember the first time you guys came to school? How many of you all would have cried, saying that you all can't go to school? What happens at the end? I can see some are raising their hands also. This brings some memories. But do you know that almost your school life is over? Subhanallah, it was lovely performance of the qasidas which we saw here with our sisters, the small group classes which we did. It was very nice. And you have to know that there is a limit of doing this because your school life will be over soon. Probably this 2013 is your last year. And after you come into the end of the last day, you tend to cry. My goodness, I cannot leave my school. I love my school a lot. I cannot leave my school because it gives a lot of memories, as the chief guest told. It gives a lot of memories when you come here. Look at what happened to a tragic old man. This is philosophy of life. An old man, he's 98 years, he lived a normal life, he wins the lottery, and the next day he died. What's the purpose of winning the lottery? The next day he died. Guys, this is philosophy. This is all what life is about. You don't get time to learn, but you have to learn through others' experience. Do not waste your time here because you go out there in the corporate world. In the corporate world, there are always the people who you see who are good are actually not to be good there. And that's why Bill Gates, all of you know who are Bill Gates. Bill Gates said, you think your teacher is tough? You think your headmaster is tough? You think your principal is tough? Well, hold on. Go to work and meet your first boss and see how tough he is. He is tougher than your class teacher. He is tougher than the headmaster. He is very tough. It's a cutthroat world up to there. And until you mold yourself as a refined character, as a school student, which will be from your school background, your teacher's background, the religious values you have, well, you are going to end up as a world-class citizen. Some go like this. They buy a car and they go to work. And look at the guy's face. Some goes to work to pay for the car. If you do not get things right in your book, you're going to end up like this. That's a classic example. If you don't get everything in right, if you don't get your marbles right, if you don't get your facts right, this is what's going to happen. It's going to be a rat race which you will be going through. Guys, if I ask you how unique are you? You know, all of us are unique here. None of you all have the same features 100%. Even if you take identical twins, there is some change for the mothers to identify. If you take the names, everyone does not have the same name here. If you take your own self, your abilities, your capabilities are different. And I like to share something which is said in the Quran about the thumbprint. About the thumbprint, that in the world there is no two people who have the similar type of thumb design. It's every time different. What is the understanding we have to take here is, I cannot do everything what I want, but I have to understand what is my core values, what's my capability. What will you think if I tell, guys, Sachin Tendulkar is not a cricketer, he's a singer? What comes into your mind? It doesn't strike our mind properly. Okay, Sachin Tendulkar is a music director. What comes into your mind? Oh, that doesn't strike our mind correctly, because Sachin is good in cricket, he selected that and he did that. Simple as that. What are your core values? And what is the foundation of these core values? Is akhlaq. What's akhlaq? Good upbringing, good behavior. You have to have good behavior to come into this. To understand religion, to understand it, you need discipline. And the discipline which you learn is either from school, either from your religious background. When I meet a lot of students at the university, they come and compare with me. What's the difference between a tuition center and a school? Guys, school is different. School is not a tuition center. A tuition center is involved in only giving knowledge, but not making your discipline. But the school is responsible for the next 11 to 13 years about your discipline, about knowledge, about upbringing and everything. So that is something, guys, we have to put into our thoughts. What is your Islamic philosophy? Just let me go through certain areas. How many of us know the first point here? When Asma radiallahu anha, that's the sister of Aisha radiallahu anha, had the parents, one of the mothers were not a Muslim. And she goes near the Prophet and asks, my mom has come here to visit me to give some gifts. Can I accept from them? The Prophet said, yes, you can accept from them. Do not hurt them. So do not hurt your parents, and even if they are non-Muslims, if they do not belong to your faith, still treat them with respect. Point number one. Point number two. We know there was a Christian king, I repeat, a Christian king called Negus in Ethiopia. The Prophet depended a lot on his help. See how we have been dealing with people of other faiths. This is a message to everyone who is here. As the Reverend Father explained about the Abrahamic faith, there are certain similarities which we can agree on. There are certain doctrine beliefs which possibly might contradict. But take what is common there. If you look at our dresses, it is almost the same. If you look at our blood, it's just the same. If you take an X-ray of our skeleton, can you say this guy is following this belief and that guy is following that belief? No, it's quite hard. So this is something which we increase in our value system. If you look at Salman al-Farisi, the Persian, he was also coming from a different background but was very warmly welcomed into the Prophet's companions. If you look at, for an example, Abdullah bin Urayqat. You guys are students, you should know these names. When the Prophet was going with Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu to that cave on Hijrah, they stayed there for how many days? Probably 3 days. From there, who took them to Medina? Who showed them the road? It was Abdullah bin Urayqat, and he was not a Muslim. He was not a Muslim. He was a very trustworthy person who helped them a lot. So this is something which we have to learn with. What about another person called Harith bin Kilda, who was also treated as a physician, a doctor? So these are certain important things which we have to take when people come and help us. Islam is a religion of peace. There is nothing in extremism called Islam. And if there is anything, we wholeheartedly reject it. And we say then to go and get your facts right. Because Islam, as our other religions, it is important that we respect every one of them. Here you can see in the pictures, my teachers whom I follow, who have gone to various interfaith programs and who have spent time together in developing people's upbringing. Every religion tells you, don't steal, don't speak lies, respect elders, respect parents, give importance to education, mold yourself, have a good upbringing, etc. That is the final message what we have to basically take when it comes into an important thing like this. Let me show you something interesting which caught my eyes. Because of the projector, it's not clear in terms of reading the letters there, but let me tell you what happened. In Egypt, where, as the respected father says, there are a lot of Arab Christians. They are Arabs, but they are not Muslims. They are Arabs, but they are not Muslims. They are Arab Christians. And there was a point where there were small problems happening there. And as you can see, in this slide, when the Muslims were worshipping, doing their prayers, a set of Christian followers came and closed that area to guard that area so that no one comes and interrupt their prayers. Similarly, on another occasion, when there was some problems with the church, the Muslim brothers got their held hands and said, we are going to guard the church, we are not going to allow any problem to come here. This is how Sri Lanka was, and we basically want and pray that Sri Lanka becomes a place like this. And who is the spearhead of all this? You youngsters who is going to go out there. It's you are the people who are going to be your brand ambassadors here. It's you who have to take this message forward. So that is something important which we take in terms of our values. What about transforming ourselves? Today you keep an agenda that from this date I'm going to transform myself, I'm going to change. If someone asks what is the biggest change, we have seen? Some people might say during the time of Ayyam al-Jahiliyyah they used to bury women, babies, baby girls. That has a big transformation of change. What about this transformation of change of the second Khalid, Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, who did not have any akhlaq in the beginning? Before he embraced Islam, he was a totally different person, very arrogant, a person who gets angry very fast. And he said, I'm going to bring the head of the Prophet. I'm going to kill him. And when he went and saw how the Prophet was, how his appearance was, how he treated him, how he welcomed him, he said, you cannot be a liar, you cannot be a person who deceives. You are surely in the true path and I want to follow you. And he comes into following one of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A huge transformation which made him to be buried in the blessed place in Madinah al-Munawwara. And as you know, that place is a very sacred place where he buried it along with the Prophet itself. This transformation is also amongst us. We are as ignorant as anyone. We do not understand many things. But most of us think that we do. I have some students who I meet in the university. When they think that they are in the university, they think they are it. They think they are it. They know it all. I know more than the professors. I know more than the lecturers. That's how people think. Guys, you're supposed to be very humble. You're supposed to be very humble in this path when you go so that you will be getting the best satisfaction in what you do. That is something important here. This is a final slide before I end my conclusion and also a small story to tell here. This is a picture which I always see when I think that I'm in trouble, or when I think that I cannot do anything, when I know that there are some things which are blocking me. For example, this is a good job done by the 2013 Islamic Society. When you are organizing such a good event, you might have felt some problems. Well, don't worry, take it as an encouragement. And as you can see, if anyone is trying to put your life in ditch, don't let that happen. You squeeze that person's neck and you make sure that you are safe. Don't let other people put you in trouble, but you try to learn and come out of it. You have to try to learn to come out of it. Which brings me into an important story, which I once learned from one of the best trainers. His name is Robin Sharma. He talked about an interesting story which tells, there was one day an artist who was called Picasso. How many of you have heard about this person, Picasso? Yeah, you can see. Most of you have heard about it. He's a very good artist. There was one day where Picasso was going in the market. He was walking in the market, and there was a lady who identified that this guy is Picasso. Let me go and have a word with him, because he's a very famous artist. He says, Mr. Picasso, and Picasso turned back. And he said, you're Picasso, right? And he says, yeah, I am Picasso. I would like to get a drawing, a sketch of myself by you. He says, okay lady, that's not a problem, that's fine. He takes a pencil, he takes a paper, and he gives a sketch. He gets a sketch in 3 minutes. The exact sketch by pencil. The lady takes that and looks and says, this is marvelous. This is marvelous. Thank you very much, Mr. Picasso. And she turns back. Thank you very much, and she turns back. Mr. Picasso interrupts. Excuse me, lady, hold on. That would cost you 1 million. That painting you just took and you folded, it will cost you 1 million. He says, what do you mean, Mr. Picasso? You just took 3 minutes. You just took 3 minutes to draw this. And you are charging me 1 million? You know what does Mr. Picasso says? says, "My dear lady, it took me maybe 3 minutes to draw this, but it took me 30 long years to know how to draw this in 3 minutes. And for my 30 long years of what I did, that's my charge I have. 1 million. This is what life brings you. By the time you close your eyes and you open your eyes, you will be 20, you will be 30, you will be 40, and that will be probably end of your time. But unless you make yourself, wake up yourself from what you're having here, well, it won't be a big change for you." Finally, a message to all the Thomians here, all the Thomians. Always don't think what did the college did to you, but think about what you did to the college. Have this in your mind. By this, I wish the Islamic Society all the best. I wish the people from Amal, Zahira who participated in the quiz competition all the best. I wish all the Qasida reciters, all the sisters who came here, and also who are going to get their certificates, all their very best. And if you lost today's competition or anything, don't feel bad. Feel at least happy that you came and participated and you learned something. And also I wish the Naqshbandi ensemble all the best for their performance in their Qasidas as well. With this, I keep everyone with the blessings of Almighty Allah and also with the blessings of Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to make sure that we learn something day by day which will correct ourselves and which will make us someone who is better than yesterday, and the day after tomorrow which will be better than tomorrow. Wassalamu warahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Thank you very much.